Good morning. Welcome back. Today I'm going to start some shaker oval boxes that come off of the sawmill that I resawed some maple, some nice spalted maple and figured maple, and I'm going to make some shaker oval box for you. But I'm trying to get everything set up and get ready to go, and we're almost there, but I'm going to start sanding a piece of this maple, get the saw marks out. Here we go. Okay, we'll come back and finish sanding this on our final assembly when we get ready, but for the moment that's perfect. So we'll go ahead and lay this out. Have some patterns over here. We'll try to decide what is the best location for this. I kind of like these parts here. They look really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and line this out. This will be the side band. And this one will be the top. Okay, I have the parts laid out. I have my bands that we'll cut. This will be a number 3 box. And these are the fingers, how we'll draw those out for the sides and the top band and the bottom band. That's how those fingers will lay out on this. And I have the spreaders here that will hold the box in its shape while it dries. I have one bottom cut out already, and this is a piece of pine that I had milled up on my sawmill. And now I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do with the top. I have this piece of wood that came off of pallets that I glued together, and I had originally set this for a number 4 box, but I think I'll use it for this number 3 box, and it'll be the top. I don't want to get this knot in there, but I can get just above that knot and draw that and cut it out. When you cut these tops and bottoms out, they need to be cut on a 5-degree angle, 5 degree or less when you cut them. If you can see this, it's got that slight angle to it there, so that when you put it in, it'll be easy to slip into the box, and then you can peg it and it'll stay put. But these are the templates that I have for these tops and the bottoms. When I form the band, we'll put it into a hot bath and let it warm up, and then we'll put it around this form. The bands will go around the forms, and we can put those together there. Set this to the side. And we'll draw out the fingers for the bands. To draw these out, it's really simple. You just lay the template on the box band and you trace that template. And be sure to mark the holes where you're going to put the tacks. And these tacks act like a little rivet. They're made of copper, but they'll braid over on the end and cinch this box. They'll cinch over on the end and cinch this box together. That draws that one. Now let's do the top band. Draw it out. And we have that one drawn out. So we can set our templates to the side. Just to keep your knives sharp, because you're always playing with them and dumping in the wood, but they do tend to get a little dull over time, so you want to sharpen them and keep them sharp. I'm using this diamond hone to sharpen with. And that feels good. All right. You want to kind of bevel these fingers a little bit. You don't have to do it too much, but just a little bit. And you want to be careful when you're cutting them, because you can go over and mess your cut up. And once you get that cut, you can kind of trim it just a little bit. Don't you just love all that music? I know you don't, but it keeps the time from going too boring. But there we go. And that has that one. You don't want to forget about the end out here. Just kind of want to take that sharp edge off of the tip there. Kind of bevel it down just a little bit. And there, that has our top band ready to go. The only other thing we'll have to do is drill the holes. That won't be difficult. So the side band is complete. The top band is complete. Now we'll do the side band. It's a matter of following the lines. And cutting through the wood. The knife wants to follow the grain, so don't get in any big hurry. You can make mistakes with that and ruin your fingers and have to start over again. And speaking of fingers, be careful with this knife. We're almost to the end of this one. Sometimes when you're doing this, you can get so intense that you start making mistakes. And if you start making mistakes when you're working with this, the best thing to do is take a step away. Go find something to do away from this, so that you don't get upset or confused with it. There you have it. We have this one ready to go into the hot bath almost. We got to drill our little pilot holes for our tacks. in case you were wondering how we hold these together, we use tacks. These are copper tacks that are used to go through this. This is the #1 copper tack, and it will go through all the way and cinch over on the next one. And we'll have a little anvil that we'll do that with. And be careful, these tacks will go everywhere if you're not working. See, there's another one. All right, let's get the bath set up. Okay, I'm going to put the tray on here to start warming up. We're going to warm up some water for this, and I'm using a copper tray. The reason I use copper is because it will not stain the wood, and that's what you want to be careful that you do not do. Let's go get some water. Okay, I use copper because it won't stain the wood. But we fill this up about 1/3 of the way full, and we'll let it get hot. Okay, it's going to take a while for this water to warm up, so I'll just kind of show you around a little bit on some of the things that we're going to do with it when we talk about bradding over the fingers once we bend them. One thing I forgot to show you is that we need to feather this bottom back here on our belt sander so that it'll fold, it'll set up tight around it. So I'll do that real quick. Don't know if you can see this edge too well, but you have to bring that down, feather it down to a narrow deal so that when you bend this box, it will fold and set tight to the inside so that there's not much of a seam inside, but you can see the top band is the same way. Now put them in the water to cook for a little while. Once the bands have cooked and softened up enough to where we can form them on our template over there, on our rounding form, our oval form, then we'll bring it over here to our anvil. This is our small anvil that we'll lay the bands on, and we'll tack those and brad that over with our copper tacks. We'll use my grandfather's small ball peen hammer. This is over 100 years old now. He had when he was young and growing up. I'm 74 now, so it's at least 100 years old, but we'll use that. Okay, we're almost ready to take it out of the hot bath. When it comes to forming the box on this #3 form here, we'll want to start out with the back of the band, the narrow part that we've tapered down, feathered down. We'll start here and we'll wrap it around so that the fingers will end up in this position. We'll mark this index here so we'll know where to line this up when we take it off. We'll take it over to our anvil. And we'll tack it. Want to line it up so that the edges are parallel with one another, and we'll start tacking. Driving these tacks is a difficult thing to do, especially when your eyesight is terrible. That's the one thing you want to be careful of, is the splitting. That's why you want to drill these out by hand. I didn't do that, and I'm paying the price. Okay, now that we've got the side here tacked in on this oval box, we'll move around to putting the top band on there. Once you're finished with your hot bath, be sure you unplug it if you're using electricity to heat it up with, because you can wind up with some serious problems later on. Now this one we'll do the same way, except that we're going to go around top of the box and put our band on, and we want this top band to match up with the others, and we want it to be fairly tight around there. Come up with it, make sure that it's tight. We're going to index it, so we want to know where to put this back to line it back up. And there's our mark. You can see our mark. We'll go ahead and tack this one down. One thing I would recommend is you find somebody with small hands to do this for you. If you've got big hands, then it becomes a problem. All right. I use a pair of pliers. I finally got smart, folks. And then drive it home. Trying to drill this out a little bit where it won't split. I don't have a needle drill, so I'm having to use the smallest one I have to do that. And we'll drive that one home. Okay, it's there. We'll make sure it lines up on our top and it fits on there and almost lines up. Let's take it off and put it back on a little bit more. It lines up fairly good. You can see where the tacks are. They're lining up, and the fingers are lining up. Now I'll boil the bands on here and put them in their forms to dry overnight. When I put the bands around these forms here, these forms will help secure that oval box position and take it out, take the oblong out. If you look at it here, you can see that it's not quite an oval shape yet for an oval box. It's kind of oblong. So we'll give it just a few more minutes here, and then we'll put it in the forms. Okay, now I'll put the forms into the bands here, and we'll let it set overnight. And the top band is on now, and it'll set up and dry overnight.